Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you all? Hope you're all absolutely brilliant. You join me on this rather wet day. It's a Sunday morning. It's about 7:15 on a Sunday morning. Now, down here that you can't see, I've got a Savage 4.6. It's got the K4.6 engine in it, because I done a video a while ago saying, with the Savage in it, but it had the LRP engine in it, the ZR32, and some people weren't very happy with that because the Savages don't come with the ZR32 in them as standard. And people have used, some of you lot have got Savages with the K4.6 engine in, and you want me to tell you how I tune the K4.6. So this is what I've got down here. Let me show you exactly what I've got. So this is what we've got. We've got the Savage with the K4.6 engine in it. I've had this engine in here for more than 15 years. It's never been taken apart, never been rebuilt. Nothing has happened to it. It's been in many ponds. It's been drowned. It's been hydrolocked. It's gone around the block basically. So Savage 21 with the K4.6 engine in it. Now let me show you what the needles are. So we've got the high speed needle here, and we've got the mid-range needle here. The best setting for that is flush with the rest of the carburetor. And then we've got the low speed, the low end needle, which is just in that throttle slider there. That's pretty much all we need to know for tuning. I don't really fanny around with all the rubbish that a lot of other people do. No temperatures ever taken, and we simply go by eyes and ears. Eyes meaning smoke, how much smoke's coming out of the exhaust. We want a fair amount. Don't want too much, don't want too little. We want a fair amount. And ears, what does it sound like? Does it sound rough? Does it sound too smooth, indicating a weak or lean mixture? Or does it sound just... You'll know when it sounds good. Trust me, you will know when it sounds good. You'll be like, that sounds mint. Anyway, before we do any tuning, we have to make sure the engine's warmed up. So we need to start up that engine there, and we need to give it a run up and down the car park there a little bit, trying to avoid the puddles if we can. We don't want any water going in that air filter. So we need to start it up, get it warmed up, have a little blast up and down, and you will notice that I've richened it up quite a lot. So you'll notice it's extremely sluggish and it doesn't really like going anywhere. So we'll do that, and then once we've started it up and done that, we'll I'll tell you, I'll guide you through step by step on what exactly it is I'm doing and what we should be looking for. The engine might fall out because it's not actually bolted in. It's only got a couple of bolts bolting it in, and it's a bit loose. So if it falls out, don't worry about that. I'll put it back in again, and we'll carry on with the instructions. I've had to put a roto start on it, by the way, because the pole start snapped, so temporarily got a roto start, unfortunately. It works well. That was a good job. Good old thing, this roto start. Right, now she's running. Got to give her a little bit of a warm up, you know, just not a lot. Let it tip over for a bit. Let it warm up enough that we can drive it. Never go off straight away. Let it warm up enough so we can drive it. And then we'll give it more of a warm up by driving it up and down in line. Notice how rich it is, it don't want to move. That's full throttle. There we go. There we go, now we're going. Up and down. Up and down, slowly. You're going to get some heat in that engine. You will notice, as it warms up, you will notice it will get faster, even though it's extremely rich, as yours will be if it's new. It'll be extremely rich there, but it will get faster as it warms up. That's a general characteristic of an engine in general. As it warms up and things get freer and more looser, it will go faster. Much like a woman, as she warms up and gets freer, she will start to go a bit quicker, you know what I mean? So, now we take our screwdriver. This is the only tool, the one and only tool, apart from our eyes and ears, that we need for tuning a nitro engine. Alright, the one and only tool is the screwdriver. I'm now going to turn, in fact I don't even need a screwdriver for the high speed needle because it's got a little gripper for your fingers. I'm going to turn the high speed, which is the black one on the top there that I showed you, I'm going to turn it clockwise, and that's clock, you know, just an eighth of a turn or something like that. Just a little bit, and we'll give it a go, and we'll continue doing that until we notice a difference. So tell me if you can hear the difference once I've turned the screw a little bit. Tone and the pitch was higher because it was a bit more power, a little bit less fuel going in, more power. Let's do that again, get some more power. Didn't like that very much, did it? Again, the tick over's getting a bit low now. I've got to adjust the tick over screw. And the tick over screw, I'll show you that in a minute. I didn't show you that earlier, it's my fault. As we tune, tick over will get lower or higher depending, and you've got to make small adjustments to that. A carburetor is a balancing act. That's what you're doing. You're balancing the engine, you're balancing the carburetor. It doesn't matter if it's a petrol engine or a nitro engine, you're balancing. It's like a seesaw, you know, like a set of scales. You know what I mean? You've got to get the balance just right. If it's too far that way or too far that way, it won't be very good. You want it just right. I'm just going to adjust the tick over a little bit higher so it doesn't keep conking out on me. And then I'm going to turn the high speed again, the high end, clockwise, another Nat's cock. Now you must have seen the difference there. That was it's getting there now. It's getting there. Tick over's gone up now. Turn that high speed, another Nat's, and let's fire her up. Doesn't help, of course, that all the rain's going on that air filter, but we'll ignore that for now. We even got second gear then. Did you hear the second gear? Right, another one. Now we're getting gear changes. Make some little adjustments to the tick over and then we'll continue. I lowered the tick over a tad, then I turned it high speed, the high end, another clockwise, another Nat. So right, another eighth of a turn. There we go, we're getting gear changes and everything now. I told you about the low end needle, the low speed needle. Take my hood off, stop raining. I told you about that, didn't I? It's on the end of the throttle. I'm going to turn that one clockwise as well now, like that, in. Another Nat's car, an eighth of a turn, and that will start fine tuning it. You start with a high speed, high end all the time, yeah? Once you get it dialed in enough, because that'll also govern the high and the low. It's not just what it says on the tin, it does both. You do that, and then you fine tune it with the low end needle, alright? The mid-range you can tune, but I tend to leave them flush. Anyway, let's go and have a look. My tyres is about to fall off. This has come unglued, so you'll have to ignore that, and we might have to iron this up a bit because otherwise the tyre might fall off. Important to remember, as you start turning in the low end needle, the tick over will start to rise because there's less fuel, which means it's going to start to go up. So you've got to balance the tick over screw, which I'll show you that in a minute, turning that outwards, yeah, outwards anti-clockwise as you're turning the low speed clockwise. It's a balancing act. You can hear now it's gone higher. I'm going to lower it. Too much. It's well worth mentioning as well that there's a myth out there. Well, some people probably experience it in real life because they've got an issue with their fuel tanking issue, a problem or whatever. There's a thing called half a tank lean. It's a load of bollocks in my experience. So the theory with that goes, as the tank gets lower, the pressure in the tank is less, and so the fuel doesn't get delivered to the engine as efficiently as it should do, meaning the engine starts to run lean. As long as there's no leaks anywhere and everything is as it should be, there shouldn't be a drop in pressure in the tank because it'll still be the same. There shouldn't be any need for it to, well, there might be a slight bit, but not enough for it to affect the fuel. Personally, in 22 years worth of, I've had that Savage since brand new, 2004 or 3, and I've never experienced this half a tank lean bollocks. So I know some of you are going to ask it in the comments because I always get asked questions about that on tuning videos. Does it matter how much fuel you've got in the tank? So if you hear that myth, don't dismiss the myth, because you might be experiencing that if you've got an issue with there might be a leak on the lid, a leak somewhere causing the pressure to drop as the fuel goes down in the tank. But providing there is no leaks and everything's as it should be, if your car is brand new, it should be all right, and you shouldn't be experiencing any half tank lean rubbish. It's just a load of rubbish. I've never had it, never ever had it, and but you know, it's just one of them things. Right, here we go. Personally, now, I wouldn't go any further with that low end, and I wouldn't go any further with the high end. I reckon now that is running mint, according to what I think. So you tell me what you think. I'm not going to go flat out because one of the tyres has come off the rim. feel. Now, we're running out of fuel, by the way. That's why it's conked out over there. I'm trying to run the fuel out. There's hardly anything in it. That's why it stopped over there. Now, I think that is more or less perfect. Let me go and get it. We'll start it up. We'll let it tick over, and you can hear it running. And hopefully, I've helped a lot of you lot out. And yeah, we'll go from there. Right, there it is, sitting there happily. I put a little bit of, just a little bit of nitro in the tank. You can probably see it's about half full now. So we should be able to run it nicely, and we'll just let it tick over, because a lot of you panic about tick overs. Personally, I don't. I like it to tick over so it don't keep conking out, but I don't care really, because I want to be driving it. I don't want to be watching it, I want to be driving it. So anyway, excuse that, bit of air in the line. I don't know about you, but I reckon that's pretty good. Don't forget that that engine's not particularly healthy, so it's not a good example really. Right, now, you might have noticed that when I started it up, I gave it a bit of revs on the throttle, didn't I? Let me explain why. You see, with engines, you probably don't notice it on your car that you drive, that you actually drive your car, because it's probably fuel injected or diesel. But with a carbureted engine, sometimes to get them started, you just have to give them a little bit of throttle. That goes for petrol engines as well as nitro engines. You know, all engines that run a carburetor, sometimes to get them running, you just need to give them a little bit of throttle. Opens up the airways a bit, brings in a little bit more fuel, and just to get it going. So that's just a tip. You know, that's not a bad thing if you have to do that. It's normal. You know, they don't generally like to start up on tick over, but you can get them, so they do. Now, as far as this engine goes, I reckon I'm not going to get this engine any better than it is. It's got the carburetors at it. I've had to put a new washer in it yesterday. There's a bit, you know, it's full of rust and dirt and things. But hopefully, I've helped some of you lot with your tuning issues, you know, not being able to tune or whatever. I would go a little bit further. Look, I filled it up to half a tank, didn't I? But the trouble is, my wheel there, that's come off, look. So I'm not going to be able to keep going like that. It's just no good. I don't want to ruin that tyre. But anyway, if you've got any questions, let me know, and I'll try my best to address them. And if anybody else wants to help you, they can do. Just remember, don't get yourself tied up like some people do, you know. They get sort of wrapped up. It depends what you want. If you want your engine to run smoothly on tick over, you can tune it to run smoothly on tick over. I mean, back in the day when I was a kid, I used to do all that, you know. I used to be into that. just getting them to run on I want them ticking over smoothly. I want everything perfect. But now that I'm a bit older, I'm not really into that as much. I want it to run nicely when it's running, like when I'm blasting around the field or whatever, you know, for example. I want it to be healthy, and I want it to run nicely, and I want it to come back, and I want it to tick over when I put the brakes on. I don't want it to keep conking out, and I want it to just run nice. But I don't aim for perfection with all that kind of stuff anymore, because, well, I've just learned basically that you'll never get it perfect, because engines are engines. Everything can affect them: air pressure, air density, you know, humidity, temperature. You could get it to be perfect, yeah, and then you'll go out, and because things wear, the engine wears, the carburetor wears, O-rings wear, different variations in nitro fuel. You might buy the same brand and the same percentages. By the way, that was running on 20% because it's all I had left. There might be slightly different variations in the batches of fuel. It'll all affect how the engine runs. I know people, they send me messages all the time. Oh, it was running perfectly last week and now it's running crap. No, I haven't done anything though. Why is this? Well, it could be anything. You know, like I say, all the different weather conditions, different variations in the fuel. As I say, you might buy a brand new bottle of nitro fuel. It might be slightly different, only slightly different, the way that it's been blended, and that will cause your engine not to run quite as well as it did before. So don't get wrapped up in that. Don't panic about it. Don't worry about it. You have to make small adjustments. It's the way engines are. The smaller the engine, the more finicky, the more susceptible they are to those little changes. Bigger engines, you don't notice it because they're bigger. You know, I know people that have the proper, the 1/5 scale, the petrol RC cars, and they're like, well, they're a lot less hard work, because all I've got to do is mix the oil with the petrol and put it in, and it goes. I don't have to worry about none of this tuning, what you do with nitro. Thing is, that's a bigger engine, yeah, so you won't notice it as much, but it's more forgiving. Do you know what I mean? It will suck up any changes. If you've got slightly less good quality petrol one time than you did the other time, you're not going to notice much of a difference, because the engine's bigger. And that's why, you know, you don't notice it in your cars and things, your real cars and things, as much, because the engines are bigger. Trust me, that is how it works. I've been around engines all my life, and you know, I drive heavy plant for a living, 10 litre engines, 20 litre, you know, so it's just the way that it is. But anyway, stop, enough waffling and chatting about that kind of crap. Hopefully I helped some of you out. Any questions, put it in the comments. I've got a Hot Bodies 3.5 nitro engine that you could have as an optional extra with the Savage SS back in the day. I've got one of them sitting on the shelf. It's actually the one that I nicked the roto start off to put on this, because it broke yesterday. I'm going to put that engine in this Savage. I need to get new steering servos and new throttle servos though, because they don't work very well anymore. I'm going to put that engine in here, and I'm just going to run it, because it ain't been run for 15-20 years. See what that's like. And if you want a video on how I tune that engine, the Hot Bodies 3.5, put it in the comments here, and while I'm there, I'll make a video on how to tune that engine, how I tune it. I'm not saying how to tune it, it's how I tune it. But there we go, you lot. I hope you enjoyed that, if that's possible, and I'll see you on the next one. All the best. Remember, treat everybody equally, treat everyone how you want to be treated. Yeah, and in that tricky situation that you might be in, which everybody gets in life, including me, where you treat someone nice, they treat you like shit back, then if you start treating them like shit back because you think that's how they want to be treated, but then you're treating them like shit, then they think that's how you want to be treated, so they treat you shit. It's just a never-ending circle. If you treat someone nice and they treat you like shit, get them out of your life. That's the best way to do it. Anyway, cheerio, you lot. All the best.